pretty mixed feelings about today. Today, in one sense, is a very, very sad day for the Minecraft Bedrock Edition community. To be specific, what was once our trusty source of experience points in the game is no more. I knew this was coming, or at least I had a pretty good sense that it was coming, so I stocked up on levels. I didn't quite get as much as I would like to have gotten, but 156? It's gonna be a while before we can get back up to this level again with any kind of, experience farm. Rest in peace, Bedrock Edition. But on a brighter note, the Infinity versus Mending war is over because Mending's been made obsolete in the early game. So, go Infinity! But this right here, this is good news. This is good news. Player offline, we all know who that is. That's Prowl. Prowl, hey, what's this, buddy? How'd you die there? I'll give you a hint. It was fall damage with Feather Falling 4. We're gonna call that the Feather Falling 4 flop. Good job, Prowl. Welcome to the leaderboard. We're heading over to Prowl's base right now, and I've got just the perfect gift for him today. Oh, it's gonna be lovely. And boop. We even left him this nice note here. When Feather Falling fails and Prowl starts to flail, place this below your chute and say bye-bye to those boots. Enjoy the first death of the season there, Prowl. Anyway, we're not going to waste any more time pranking and goofing off and making fun of Prowl. Even though that's a lot of fun, we got a lot of work to do. We're going to be making 3, count them, 1, 2, 3, micro farms in today's episode. In previous series on my channel, I've kind of waited until the end of the season to make these kinds of farms, but we're doing it early on because it would be very helpful to have a quick source of some of the things that we're going to be making today. So I'm ready to get started, but one quick disclaimer for you, because we are doing 3 micro farms today. We are not decorating any of these, and I'll have to decide whether or not we're going to do that in a video. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see decorations and buildings in a video for these farms, or if I should do them for stream projects. And while you're leaving a comment, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Helps out the community tremendously. Even though we're not decorating today, I do want to start thinking about how this is going to be decorated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a chest right here and a chest right there, and we left a block gap between the chest and the ground just in case we want our floor level to be at that level, but again, something we will worry about another time. We'll go ahead and crouch and place a hopper directly into the side of that double chest, and this is where our cows are going to land. Then I'm going to take some glass and crouch before we place it on the hopper, again, because we will open the hopper inventory if we don't crouch. So we'll place a piece of glass right here, here, and here. Nope. And there. Nope. Come on. 3rd time's the charm. There we go. I can just tell this is going to be a problem all episode long, so scaffolding. And there we go. Then we'll place another piece of glass right here, and we'll do one right here, but then we're going to skip this one, and we're going to take a dispenser and put it there instead. We want to make sure to face the back side of the farm away from the road so that we can have the front of the dispenser facing forward, and we're going to leave that empty for the moment, and then we'll crouch and place glass here and here. This is the landing area for our baby cows, where they will eventually grow up into adult cows. Just another side note as well, we're using glass for now. When we get around to decorating this, we may shift things up a little bit, but this is a good placeholder block for now. Out of the back of our dispenser, we're going to place a solid block. This does have to be a solid block, and it's going to have redstone going into it. So when we use solid blocks, make sure you know generally what color palette you're going to be using, and try to stick with it, because that'll be harder to change later on. Then we can place a temporary block right here and go back 2. We'll go ahead and remove that just to not waste too many resources. And then we'll go redstone dust, another temporary block out of the back of this one, followed by another temporary block directly on top of that, and then we're going to grab a solid block to place down right here. We can go ahead and break both of those, and we'll grab one redstone torch and place it right there. And then on top of this block with the redstone torch, we'll place a redstone dust right there. And then because this is technically counted as a full block, the redstone, you can't place anything directly on top of that glass because the redstone is already occupying that space. So if we go ahead and place a dispenser directly on top of this, trying to angle back as much as possible, we will get a forward-facing dispenser right there. And then we need one more solid block directly on top of that dispenser and a redstone torch coming out of the back. Then we're going to take a button and we're going to place it right there on top of this block. That is going to activate our farm and deactivate our farm. This right here is going to be a button on the side of this dispenser as a fail-safe in case the lava somehow gets inverted. And then we'll place another button right here off to the side to prevent the lava from going down to the hopper level, because that's where the baby cows are going to stand, and we don't want baby cows getting fried. That's just cruel. We'll go ahead and toss our lava bucket in here and our water bucket in here, and then we need to make a little tunnel here and a holding cell for our adult cows and the baby cows to fly forward to eventually grow up and become what every cow strives to become: cooked steak and leather. So we'll just go ahead and build this up, making sure to not leave any corners exposed, because corners can become a little bit of an issue where entities might be able to glitch through the sides. So we just want to avoid any kind of corner issues. And I think the same goes for up here. We'll go ahead and just fill all of this in, and then we should be about ready to bring some cows over here. We actually do want to make sure to block this off, because we don't want the adult cows flowing down in there. That would just break the entire farm. So we'll cover that up, and then we'll cover that up. And now the only thing that should be able to slip through there are baby cows. Again, this looks like a giant mess. It doesn't look very pretty. We're gonna cover it up with a nice looking building, but this is just to show you the mechanics of the farm so you know how it works. If you didn't know, cows are attracted by wheat, so we can lure them over to our farm, and they're happy as can be. They're gonna be just fine. They're excited. You know what? We talked about making villagers nice homes this season. Cows, you're just gonna have to deal with it, okay? It's gonna be fine. You know what I should have thought about before bringing these guys over here? How we're gonna get them up there. So don't move. Come on up. Come on up. One at a time. One at a time. This is going to be way easier if we do this one at a time, because we're going to have to push all you guys in here, and it's going to be a little bit challenging, but that's okay. We'll make it work. How about you go in there, okay? You're going to love it. You're going to love it in there. It's your new home, okay? There's plenty of food to be had and water to drink. Hey, our first cow's in. Now I got to do that 9 more times. I know that only looks like one cow, but you take the wheat away and they get distracted and they start splitting into more cows. Oh my goodness. No, that's 10 cows there, okay? Here's what this button is for. This button is going to turn that water on. That water is going to start bouncing those cows up and down. We're only using 10 so that we don't cause lag in the world, and so that we don't get baby cows stuck in here. If the baby cow happens to get like pushed backwards instead of forwards, we don't want too many cows kind of blocking the way. So what we can do is we can bounce the cows with the water, and we've already messed up. This is a perfect example of what happens when you combine lava and water. Okay, in order to stop that from happening again, we're going to stop the water before it can reach the lava by placing a button right there. That should work. Now, one thing I failed to mention before we actually tested this thing out, we actually need to enable the lava first by default. So there we go. Lava chilling there, leaving a 1 block gap between the bottom and the lava source itself. And now we're ready to give this thing a first test run. When we press the button, it should activate that water and deactivate that lava. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, test. There we go. Perfect. We got the water source flowing. We got the cows bouncing. And the reason we're bouncing these cows is because if they're just kind of hanging out in one space together, we're going to miss some and we won't be able to breed them. So we'll go ahead and feed, and we should see some baby cows shooting forward here momentarily. Boom. There we go. We got our baby cows just flying into their little chamber there. Dude, they're so excited. Let's go. And then we can turn this thing off and let them rest for a minute, because we will have to rebreed again to get some more cows. But for the time being, we can just let these guys sit here and move on and do something else in the base. Once they grow up into adult cows, they'll kind of get fried by that lava and give us some steak and leather. You guys are doing a great job. Just smile and smile. That's all you got to do. What we're going to do is place a slab right here to give ourselves a little bit more options for this farm. If we want to just leave and go do something else, we can. Or if we want to speed this process up, this ain't for you, buddy. If we want to speed this process up, we can go ahead and feed cows some hay or wheat, whatever this stuff is called. We're going to feed it to them. They're going to grow up after a little bit here. We should see, there we go. We've got an adult cow, and we've got our first leather and our first steak from this farm. From 1 cow, 3 steak. That ain't bad. Let's do another one. And not too bad. 2 more steak, no more leather, and we're up to 10 steak and 3 leather now. I'm pretty happy with that. This one's ready to go. We're going to start our crop farm out the same way we did the cow farm, with a double chest right here, and then a hopper into the side of that double chest. Then we'll put a piece of glass directly on top of this chest. It does need to be a transparent block or something like a stair, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to open the chest, but because it is transparent, it'll just go right through it. Awesome, weird Minecraft mechanics for you. Then we'll put a temporary block and a block right there, temporary block and a block right there, and another temporary block and a block right there. And you know what? We may just leave those there for good measure. We've got plenty of glass for now, but what we are going to do next is take a rail and we're going to place it directly on top of this hopper. Then we've got a hopper with minecart that we can put right there, and this is the reason we boxed this in. We don't want that minecart to move. It needs to stay put, otherwise it won't collect our crops correctly. Then directly on top of that minecart with hopper, we can place one piece of dirt and dirt, temporary block right there, and a piece of dirt right there. There we go. Then in the back of our dirt block here, we're going to place a sticky piston facing forward so that the sticky is on the dirt. And then we'll do another block right here, block right here, block right here. And we'll grab our 3 dispensers and we'll go 1, 2, and 3 so that they're all facing inward toward that block of dirt. Then we can put a temporary block right here, and then we will take our observer. And again, I've explained this before in previous videos, but it's always helpful to know because sometimes I get confused with it myself. How do you know which way to place the observer? All right, the observer has a face on it and it's got a red dot for a redstone output. You want the face of the observer to face the block that it's going to be observing. And we'll jump back up here and we'll face downward with our observer and then jump and place it so that the redstone dot is up in the air and the face of the observer is down toward the dirt. You can see it right there. Then we'll go ahead and break that glass because that's where our crops are actually going to grow. But we are not done yet. We've got a few things left to do to wire this bad boy up, and we need a solid block here, solid block here, solid block here. Again, we're using solid blocks because solid blocks can carry a redstone signal as opposed to transparent ones. They will not. Then we also need a solid block on top of this observer. This is what's going to actually receive the signal from the observer below. And we'll go ahead and do redstone dust, 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 and dust. And then we'll take a couple of glass blocks out the back. We'll put a temporary one right here and place this one down. Then we'll go ahead and put another temporary one right there, and then we'll break that one, and then another glass block right here. So we've got a little bit of a backwards P shape, right? Or a forwards P, depending on how you're looking at it. It sure doesn't stand for Prowl, that's for sure. We haven't talked a whole lot about redstone in this season of the guide yet, so if you're new and you're new to redstone, redstone is the electricity of Minecraft. It is the circuitry, it's the mechanics, it's whatever you want to call it. It does carry a signal, but the signal strength will fall off at some point. We're nowhere near that, but repeaters actually do the job of repeating the signal and carrying that out farther. The reason we are using this repeater is to have a delay between the activation of the dispensers and the piston below. We don't want them to fire at the same time. They need to be slightly delayed, so that's what this repeater does. And we'll go ahead and move this backwards 1 to the second slot. That is 2 ticks of delay. So we just talked a minute ago about how solid blocks can carry a redstone signal through them to activate things like redstone dust. Transparent blocks like glass cannot do that though, but you can place redstone on top of them and this will still get powered. The cool thing about using transparent blocks like this is you can go diagonally through them, as opposed to the solid blocks. You cannot go at a diagonal. You can only go where there's open space. So for example, if we were to place a solid block over the top of this one right here, this is technically cutting off that redstone signal from going back that direction. And then when we break that block, you can see that it has reconnected. This is not the case for transparent blocks like glass. We can go ahead and place this down here, and you'd think that there's no way for us to get through to that. Well, you're wrong. You go ahead and place that down there. there, and the signal does carry through, and then it carries on down here to our piston to power that. The majority of this farm is now complete, but we still are missing one vital piece. We need water for this dirt block to remain farmland once we've tilled the soil. So what we can do is we can take a temporary block here, temporary block there, and then we'll go and grab a stair, and we'll make sure to place it down right there so that it is facing toward our piston. We'll place a block off to the side just to protect our redstone dust. And then we can do something super cool that was introduced a little while ago, but this never used to be possible. We can waterlog this stair. We can go ahead and go boop, just like that, and there's a little water source that will go through that diagonal and technically reach that dirt so that we can have farmland. So now if we till this soil with our hoe, it will stay farmland forever. In this chest back here, I have 27 stacks of bone meal, and we're gonna go ahead and divvy these up between the 3 dispensers. And now that we've got all 3 of our dispensers preloaded with bone meal, we can take any one of these crops right here and we can grow them. Before we do, here's how this works. When you place a seed or a carrot or a potato or anything that can grow on farmland, this observer is going to say, hey, something changed. And it's going to observe that and send out a redstone signal to this block right here. This block is going to power the redstone dust on all of these dispensers and at one time fire off 3 rounds of bone meal. This repeater is also going to pick up the signal from this redstone dust and send it out the back, delayed by 2 ticks in the game. After that 2-tick delay, it will fire that piston forward, which will move the farmland forward and break any grown crop on top of the farmland. It'll also break the seed if it hasn't grown, but because we've set it up this way, it should fully grow before it moves forward. This minecart will then pick up on the fact that there's a broken seed or crop or something up there above the dirt block, and it'll swoop, suck it right through the dirt block and down into the hopper and then down into our chest. So there you go. We explained it all, but it happens in a blink of an eye. So are you ready? Here we go with our wheat seed in 3, 2, 1. Boom! Look at that. Did you see what happened? Well, check it out. In our chest, we've got 1 wheat and 3 wheat seeds. So then we can go over here and we can capitalize on our profits and make 3 more. And in the chest now, we have 5 seeds and 4 wheat, and we could just keep doing this over and over and over because we have that cow farm over there that's going to use up a lot of wheat. This would be a lot faster than waiting on it to grow over there, especially because we have that fish farm way off in the distance to get a bunch of bones from. We'll be able to restock our bone meal, no problem. And again, this works with carrots. It'll work with potatoes, and it should also work with beetroot. So there you go. This is a pretty profitable crop farm, but we're not done yet. We got 1 more. Oh, before we move on, just realized as I'm testing this out, that piston shouldn't be firing twice. This is because the observer's firing a little bit too quick for this to keep up with, so we actually need to push this back to 3 ticks of delay. Man, where's my brain today? So, if you stand here and you hold down on the button, it should only go out once instead of firing out quickly twice, and that should make your farm a little bit more efficient. If you've got an auto clicker or something like that, you can just stand here and keep planting until you run out. So just keep an eye on it. In the same way we started the other 2 farms, we're going to place a chest right here and a hopper right there. Then the same way that we trapped a hopper minecart in the crop farm, we're going to do that here as well. So we'll place the rail down on top of the hopper, and then we'll take our hopper minecart and drop it down right there. That should not move, should stay there forever. And then we'll take a piece of dirt and make sure that it is directly over the top of that hopper minecart. But the difference this time is this dirt is not going to move like the miniature crop farm over there. That is going to stay put. That's where our sugarcane is going to sit. We're going to take a temporary block and place it down right here, and then we're going to go ahead and put a dispenser facing forward. This is what's going to grow our sugarcane. And then on top of that, we need a regular piston right here, and that's what's going to break our sugarcane. We'll go ahead and break that block for now, but we'll come back to it in just a minute. We'll place another block down right here and a solid block right there. This is going to be the activation for our sugarcane farm. So we'll take a lever so that when we flip this lever, it's going to power the entire farm. We'll leave that off for now. We'll place a block down right here and a block down right there. We'll grab a redstone repeater and we'll place it down right there. We'll leave it alone. We won't change the tick value. And then we'll go over to the opposite side of the farm, and we'll face this direction, perpendicular to that repeater right there. We'll grab a sticky piston and place it down right there. And then out of the side of this piston, I'm going to take a temporary block and place it right here, and place it right there. We'll hop back up here, and we'll grab our observer and make sure it is facing directly into that temporary block, and then we can go ahead and break. And we can break. And I'm actually going to power this on for the moment, which will extend that sticky piston, moving that observer out of the way. Then I'm going to climb up here and grab our other observer, and we're going to aim it right at the extended part of the piston, and boom. Then I'm going to take a hopper and face it into the side of our dispenser right there to funnel in some additional bone meal. That way, when this runs out, because it runs out very quickly, we have another chest full of bone meal ready to refill our supplies. Now, this farm is just about done. We can take our sugarcane, and if we try to place it down, nothing happens. The reason why? It needs a water source directly next to that block in order for it to allow sugarcane to be planted. That's why we left this guy empty right here. We've got a water bucket. We're going to go ahead and place down a water source, and that's just going to go flying all over the place. So we'll make sure to enclose this in just like that. And now when we try to place down our sugarcane again, bada bing, bada boom, it's right there. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to box this in just like we have every other farm. So we'll go ahead and build this up and make sure nothing can escape. Again, we'll go ahead and cover corners for now. We will decorate this at some point, but we'll cover corners so that no sugarcane can be forced through the corners outside of the farm. We want this to be completely lossless. Sugarcane can grow 3 high when bone mealed, so we go ahead and place a block right here, and then we can box it in just like that, making sure that there's plenty of room for this to grow 3 high. And then all we need to do is load up the dispenser with bone meal, load up the backup chest, and we're ready to go. Thankfully, right here, I've got a full double chest of bone meal. Let's load it up. So I'm ready to go ahead and test this, but yeah, math is hard because I have extra bone meal. But that's fine, because this will blow through pretty quick, and we'll definitely need that to refill the machine. So here's how this works. When we turn the lever off, it's going to depower that block, which is going to depower that repeater, which is going to depower that piston, and it's going to drag the observer backwards, because that is a sticky piston. When it crosses in front of this observer is going to be like, hey, something happened, and it's going to fire out a redstone signal out the back, which is not going to do anything, because there's nothing back here connected to it. But what this repeater is then going to do is say, hey, this block made an update. Let me go ahead and do an update as well. And it's going to fire a signal into the back of this dispenser. So when that observer decides to fire a signal into the dispenser, this dispenser is going to fire bone meal to grow the sugarcane. And at the same time, this piston is going to push forward to break the second and third layers of sugarcane. And it's very, very fast, and it will repeat that process over and over. So here we go. We'll go ahead and fire the lever. Boom! There goes our bone meal. There goes our sugarcane. Everything should be collecting, and check this out. This thing is super duper fast, and it's so easy to build. Tons and tons of sugarcane in a short amount of time. This is going to get us ready for rockets for our elytra very, very soon. If you didn't know, this is pretty much the same farm that I built in Season 1 of the Bedrock Guide, except for this actually has a collection system this time. Before, whoops. We actually had to stand here and collect it manually and then put it in a chest. We wanted to do some upgrades this season because who wants to collect things manually? Let's do it all automated. There might be a corner up here somewhere that's allowing the sugarcane to get through. It's probably this right here. We'll go ahead and block that off, and we shouldn't have any more issues with losing sugarcane. This might be about the only place it could happen, but we should be good to go. So that's it, folks. That's 3 quick and easy microfarms that you can build in your Minecraft world. Be sure to let me know if you like this video in the comments. Leave a like, click the subscribe button, and make sure to click the bell and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any more videos or live streams from your man Blue Jay. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.